1, 2, 3, 7.
Right. Kirk, are you aware that, I guess, can you hear us? And are you aware that you're not showing?
Yes,
Your
and yes.
screen is black, okay.
I don't have the bandwidth to have my camera on. I mean, that's part of the problem.
Okay, that's fine. Sometimes when it's black, people don't realize that it's that way, so.
This Kurt's probably like in a kayak.
Nice.
It has nothing to do with witness protection program.
All right. Well, I guess let's get started. Welcome to the May 14th, 2024 LSP board meeting. I'm Diane Baxter, chair of the board. Do we have any non-board members on?
Yes,
Okay.
we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 members of the public. Charles Young, Christy LaFerbe, Rebecca Buswell, Sarah Phipps, and Wendy Lund.
All right. I will proceed with roll call to establish who from the board is participating in today's meeting and also confirm our quorum. Please say here or present when I call your name. David Austin, Gail Batchelder,
Present.
Kathy Campbell,
Present.
Craig Ellis, no. Kirk Franklin,
Here,
Patrick Heron, Greg McBride,
present.
Paul McKinley,
I'm present.
Jamie Smith, and Diane Baxter present. All right. So I guess I went backward. Chris, you confirmed several of the participants.
Yes. Charles Young, Christy LaFerbe, Rebecca Buswell, Sarah Phipps, and Wendy Lund.
All right. Welcome. All right, we'll start with our continuing education committee meeting. David, would you like to chair that?
Sure, I'm calling it to order the continuing ed meeting at 12:08. Any comments on the meeting minutes from last month?
I move to approve the minutes.
Second.
Okay, all those in favor, we say yes going around. Kirk. Kirk. Go back to Paul.
Was that me? Paul's a yes.
Gail,
Yes.
Kathy,
Yes.
Greg,
Yes,
Diane,
Yes.
I'm a yes, and Kirk, are you? We're approving the meeting. Oh, you weren't here last month.
I was not.
How's it going?
Yeah.
So the meeting minutes from last month are approved. Under new business, we have 4 course requests. 5. The first one, LSPA, membership meeting. Later this month out in Springfield, in person, 1 credit. I'll make a motion to approve.
Second.
Any discussion from the public or the board? Yes is approving. Jamie?
Yes.
Kirk?
Yes,
Paul?
Yes.
Gail?
Yes.
Kathy?
Yes.
Greg?
yes,
Diane?
Yes.
And I'm a yes. The second request is also from the LSPA. Draft risk assessment guidance overview this week, live webinar, and also future on demand for 1 credit. I make a motion to approve.
Second that.
Any discussion from the board or public? Yes is approving. Jamie,
Yes.
Kirk,
yes,
Paul,
Yes.
Gail,
yes,
Kathy,
yes,
Greg,
Yes.
Diane,
Yes.
and I'm a yes. The third request is from Pace Alpha on Tosca PCB amendments, one technical live webinar and future on demand. One credit. I had a question here, quiz. Are they giving us assessment of learning quiz for both the webinar and on
They're doing the
demand?
polling questions for the webinar, and it's
Oh, polling.
10 questions for
On demand,
on demand, yeah.
okay,
And also, too, before you make a motion, looking at the course, it might be eligible for regulatory credits. Kim Tisa is one of the presenters, and it seems like it has to do with the recent PCB regulatory changes, so that's an option to consider.
is she the main presenter or just half?
Just one of three.
Does she count as regulatory when she doesn't work at APA anymore?
right,
Yeah,
Good point.
she's in consulting. So I make a motion to approve as is.
second,
Any discussion from the public or board? Yes is approving. Jamie,
Yes.
Kirk,
yes,
Paul,
Yes.
Gail,
yes,
Kathy,
yes,
Greg,
Yes.
Diane,
Yes.
and I'm a yes. And then the fourth request is the Battelle Coordinated Conference. Like we typically grant 1 for 2 for the attendance of the conference, and then 1 for 1 for the short courses, which has been dropped to 11. And I looked at the titles of all of them and they all seem technical in nature.
Okay.
So I make a motion to approve.
second,
Any discussion from the public? Board? Yes is approving. Jamie,
Yes.
Kirk,
yes,
Paul,
Yes.
Gail,
yes,
Kathy,
yes,
Greg,
Yes.
Diane,
Yes.
and I'm a yes. And then the last one. Our superstar LSP board employees. LSPA offering 1.5 DEP regulatory credits. Live webinar, oh, it's not in person. Live webinar and then future on demand for membership meeting in June. I make a motion to approve.
Second.
Any discussion from the public or board? So it's both formats, webinar and future on demand. A yes is approving. Jamie,
Yes.
Kirk,
yes,
Paul,
Yes.
Gail,
yes,
Kathy,
yes,
Greg,
Yes.
And
Diane,
I approve if I'm one of the presenters.
Yes, it's up to you if you feel welcome.
and I'm a yes. That concludes the business for the continuing ed meeting. The next meeting is June on the 11th. I'm ending the meeting at 12:15.
All right, next, we'll go to the professional conduct committee meeting. Kirk or Jamie, like to lead this?
Sure, call to order the professional conduct committee at 12:15. Are there any announcements or changes to the agenda? Hearing none, are there any comments or edits to the draft minutes of April 9,
Or,
I think I left Greg off as present by mistake on the minute. He brought that to our attention, so I will fix that in the final version.
Motion to approve. Minutes?
second,
Okay, all in favor, I guess we gotta do a roll call, huh? You have a list written down there.
Yes.
Thank you. I will abstain, I was not here, Kurt,
yes,
Paul,
Yes.
Gail,
Yes,
Kathy,
Yes.
Greg,
yes,
Diane.
yes.
Yes,
Sorry, David.
on me.
Good, minutes are approved. Okay, on to old business, review of active cases.
I can do that. Chris, do you mind putting up the list on the screen? The active case summary table.
Go down the next page. Yeah. Too far. Top of page 3. You want the Excel file. There you go.
There we go. So scrolling up all of it for number 1. So number 1, 05C07, nothing has happened since last month. We are awaiting to hear when there will be oral argument before the appeals court. I haven't heard anything about that yet. Number 2, 08C03, we discussed this case in quasi last month. We will be discussing it again today. So nothing else to report about that one yet. 12C01, also, there's nothing new to report on this one. Number 4, 18C01, the CRT on this one is actively working. Had a CRT meeting on April 22nd and has another meeting scheduled for next week. 18C02, number 5, this is the this one, nothing has happened on this one. Matt is recused from this one, so I will be the staff person on this one. I need to get some other things out of the way, like the regs move forward and stuff, so it probably will be another couple of months before we're able to pick that one up again. 621C01, the CRT is actively working on this one and is looking to interview the LSP in June.
We jump into 23 CO.
Yeah, let's see, 23 CO1 is the next agenda.
A board decision to make. This is the complaint, this is 23 CO1. Complaint came in last July by a private party against an LSP that the complainant hired to respond to a gas line release on the complainant's property. The complainant alleged that upfront payment of 50% of the contract amount was made to the LSP when the contract was executed and prior to the initiation of the work in December 2021. And then another payment was made approximately 8 months later when the LSP went to the site to conduct the contracted field work, which was well sampling. And the wells turned out to be dry that day. The complainant alleged that over the next 12 months, the LSP failed to respond to the complainant's numerous attempts to reach the LSP to finish the work, and the LSP never returned to the site or completed the contracted work. The LSP provided a response to the board and indicated that an accident and subsequent rehabilitation and recovery had limited the LSP's project work and professional obligations. After discussion of the complaint and the LSP's response at the January 9th, 2024 board meeting, the committee voted to reach out to the complainant for an update. At the February 13th, 2024 meeting, I reported back and indicated that I was unable to speak to the complainant due to illness, who later passed away. But the complainant's wife indicated that the LSP did sampling work last fall and a report was pending, and that DEP was providing the complainant some guidance. The complainant requested to put the case on hold until the LSP submitted the final report to DEP. At that time, the committee moved to table the discussion and revisit within 6 months. So here we are today. Over the past 3 to 4 weeks, I've been going back and forth with the LSP and the complainant, get a status update from each of them. Finally, yesterday, I was told by the complainant that the report is being finalized and will be submitted to DEP by the end of this week. As of today, the site is still in an NON status and no reports have been submitted to DEP since 2019. So with that, I'll send it back to the chair for deliberation or questions.
I mean, has the complainant, or I guess the complainant's wife indicated that she wants to continue to pursue the complaint at this point? Or
What's that again?
do they want to continue to pursue?
Yeah, they mentioned last week, they do want to pursue the complaint, even though the report looked like it's going to be submitted this week, they still want us to pursue it. Correct.
And I will just add, historically, when I was at the board previously, we really never deferred to the complainant's wishes, and if somebody filed a complaint and then wanted to retract it, we never allowed that, because the complaint needs to sort of stand on its own, like, once it's, like, because if it's like a dispute somebody's having and then it's over, if the complaint has merit, separate and apart from that, we historically we've always said you can't just, once you submit it, it's up to us what happens to it. Just wanted to put that historical perspective.
We want to look at it as a board, it's not been screened.
No screening team, the redacted complaint, the response was given to everybody
Yeah.
in January, and that's kind of where it stood.
Well, what was the violation? Is it just a fee dispute? What was violated?
A little bit more than a fee dispute, and that's why we didn't just dismiss it internally. There was more to it than, and it really, the complaint is not refuting the fee or disputing the fee. There's a little bit more to it than that.
Well, and I guess to me, reading at the one issue that might be worth consideration outside of just a straight fee dispute, that the complainant's not happy that, they entered a contract, paid money and work wasn't done, was that the length of time for things to happen on the site, like, is the issue that the LSP violated, the rule to act with due diligence, like, does it rise to the level that it's worth that? Is it more in the nature of fee dispute, dismissal with a warning? Does it merit a full CRT investigation? To me, that's the one issue.
It seems that-
Terry, we can't do a dismissal with a warning unless we take it as a complaint, right? I mean, we have a CRT.
That's a good question. I don't know historically if we've ever done that. I don't remember that. If you want to consider that, we can certainly look. If you want to decide that today, because I frankly can't answer that without looking back.
Yeah. Could we ask you to look back and see if it's ever been done? Because it's somewhat similar, I don't think it's as serious as the one we are looking at, but the idea that when people have fee disputes that are obvious or lack of diligence getting things in, but it may not be more than that is the issue. I wonder if it's something where the board could dismiss it with a warning without having to look into it in more detail. And that's where the problem is. How do you know what, just from the complaint and the response, I'm not sure the truth. That was why we always had to set up either a screening team or something to look into that.
A dismissal is, it's not a discipline, so it may be, except, there may have been some careful language put in a letter. But I can't answer that without looking, but I don't think it would take me much to go back in time and see if we've ever done that before or not.
Wouldn't it make sense to set up the screening team and just to take the first step and so that we can actually figure out what the real issues were? I mean, it doesn't sound like it was a fee dispute. It sounds like the LSP didn't carry through on a required schedule so that they received an NON. And so the complainant has the NON because of the lack of activity from the LSP. That seems to me something we
Yeah.
could set up the screening team and may not go further than that, but at least we can start the process.
I agree with that approach.
I agree
because
with that too.
the Whole board having to get up to speed on it and decide on a dismissal or.
Yeah. Doesn't seem like we could dismiss without knowing that information anyway, it would be premature.
Right.
And just to clarify, there wasn't an NON, the NON was in 2019, this contract was executed in 2021. So that
Okay,
was-
I missed that, Matt. Thank you. I thought the NON was the result of the not producing the reports.
Well, does it make sense to just assign the screening team so that we're not going full-blown CRT yet? And at least track down any details that might need to be fleshed out a little before we make a decision? Like for instance, didn't the LSP say that they couldn't do the work because they were incapacitated in some way? And we kind of need to follow up on that, I would think, to believe it.
I think we're all in agreement, and I'm willing to be on the screening team. I'm not on anything else at the moment. Other.
So we need a non-LSP.
I can do it.
Okay.
So screening team it is. So we'll review the matter and report back to the board.
But since both people are there, can you check to make sure they're not recused? Before, in case you need.
Yeah, it's a good idea.
Yeah, good point. Yep.
No issues.
This is for a screening team setup, okay.
Yes.
A motion to.
We need to vote on setting up the screening team.
I guess it wouldn't hurt.
I think, don't we?
Meat wants to vote.
Is there a motion to set a screening team up for this matter?
So moved.
So moved. Second.
In a second, okay. A yes is to approve formation of the screening team. I'm a yes. Kirk,
Yes,
Paul,
Yes.
Gail,
Yes.
Kathy,
Yes.
Greg,
Yes,
and
Yes,
David.
Yes.
Right, motion carries. All right, is there any new business to discuss? Good. And the next meeting scheduled for June 11th, right in person. We'll bring the professional conduct committee to a meeting close at 12:30. All right,
so
thank you.
now we're back to the LSP board meeting. Call to order at 12:30 p.m. Any announcements, additions, or changes to the agenda? Okay, none. Any comments on the draft minutes from April 9th?
Is this the one where Craig is on there twice? I mean, maybe he came in the middle, but was remote in the beginning.
Yes, I did that and I left Greg off again. So I will fix both of those things.
Great.
Okay,
Motion to approve the minutes as amended?
So moved.
Second,
all right. Well, we'll vote on that, I think. David,
yes.
Gail,
Yes,
Kathy,
Yes.
Craig,
Yes,
Kirk,
yes,
Asper, not here, Greg,
sorry, Greg is yes. I answered for Craig before, sorry.
oh, I thought Craig wasn't here.
Yeah.
Okay. Where am I? Greg, Paul,
Paul's a yes.
Jamie,
Abstain.
and Diane, yes. Okay. Let's see, decisions regarding licensing of applicants. Matt,
We do have one pending applicant, Jane Parkin Coleman. It was tabled a month or two ago. The ARP requested more information from her. She did submit that information last Friday. So the ARP, I'll contact you later this week and we'll schedule another ARP meeting to review that information and hopefully be able to bring it to the full board at the next meeting in June. That's it.
okay, great. All right, renewal applications. Chris, could you put up those dockets? All right, we have 3 dockets. Okay. The first one is for 2 people for new expiration date, January 30th, 2027.
Motion to approve docket 1,
second,
Okay. And we'll vote on that. David,
yes.
Gail,
yes,
Kathy,
Yes.
Kirk,
yes,
Greg,
Yes,
Paul,
Yes,
Jamie,
Yes.
and Diane, yes. Okay, so first docket approved. Second docket is 11 applicant or 11 renewers with new expiration date April 30th, 2027. We have a motion,
Motion to approve?
okay,
Second,
great, all right. David,
yes.
Gail,
yes,
Kathy,
Yes.
Kirk,
yes,
Greg,
yes,
Paul,
we got to recuse on this one.
okay, Jamie,
Yes.
and Diane, yes. Okay, and the last one, renewal docket 3 is 2 people. And it'll be an expiration date of 7/30. Wait, it says 2024, should that say?
This is an extension, not even extension request.
Okay.
Motion to approve docket 3,
Second.
Right. In favor, let's see, David,
yes.
Gail,
yes,
Kathy,
Yes.
Kirk,
yes,
Greg,
yes,
Paul,
Yes,
Jamie,
Yes.
and Diane, yes. Okay. The 3 dockets all approved. Got my pages. No. But wait, we already did that.
Renewal status.
Okay,
Or
yes. Renewal status report, Matt.
Yep, I can give an update. April 30th was the last renewal group. We have 31 LSPs on the roster. 24 did submit renewal applications. The others, 2 retired, Bruce Teese and Mike Villa. 2 were suspended because of failure to pay their annual fees, and 3 did not renew, so they are lapsed.
What was the first name that retired?
Bruce Teese? Yeah. And Mike Villa.
Okay. No other renewal.
Nope, that's it for the, April. Yeah.
Okay, good. Other issues, scheduling of future ARPs.
None at this time.
Okay, and inactive status report.
Yep, so currently we still have 2 listed as inactive. Total number of active is going to be 417. We'll move down to our annual fees report. Currently have 5 LSPs outstanding that have not paid their 2024 annual fees. So just a reminder, deadline for payment is going to be June 30th of this year. Come July 1st, we're looking at revocation. Oh, and so for Acela, we do have 10 LSPs currently not ranked.
Exams. Matt, do you have an exam committee report?
Yep, exam committee met on April 17th and May 1st. And continue to go through the exam questions, the current exam questions to evaluate changes. The new MCP amendments and other guidance documents. Committee is working questions with the goal of. Next meeting is May 22nd.
Right.
So my calendar is missing meetings up until end of June.
Yeah, so we'll have to the next meeting talk about future meetings, June is going forward.
After next Wednesday's meeting.
Yeah,
Okay, thanks.
All right. Continuing education committee report. David, can you provide?
Yeah, the committee met today and we approved 4 courses and 1 conference.
Good, thank you. Professional conduct committee report, change.
Committee met, reviewed complaints and assigned a screening team.
Thank you. And personnel budget and Board of LSP board paper file. I witnessed some of that today, so Terry.
the better part, I have much new on personnel. We still, we don't have clearance to hire for a lawyer at this time. Budget, the only budget related issue is we did put together an RFR for, we're looking for a psychometrician. And we secured enough in that portion of our budget to pay that person, and that solicitation went live on the Massachusetts Combine site last Friday and closes on June 7th. So then we'll hopefully be able to contract with somebody to assist with getting the new exams put together. I am working diligently on going through the boxes of paper files and hoping to have that project completed within the next month. So that one-time task is done and behind us. That's all I have to say.
All right, thank you.
Just a question, was the previous psychometrician notified of the RFP?
Yes.
Thanks.
All right, status of board member vacancies. We still have 1 vacancy for the environmental seat. We're still seeking applicants and trying to fill that position. Other business, regulation amendments update.
I have an update. So I have gone through the red line that was circulated before I came on board. And I'm just about done with my revised version of that, which I should be able to send around within the next week. Matt had provided me with a list of board members who had expressed interest to be on that subcommittee. There were 5, Jamie, Paul, Kathy, Greg, and Craig. So,
I was on the committee too. I was on it before too.
okay, I can add you. So my thought is to send that red line to the subcommittee members. And does the subcommittee want, I know that you guys had been meeting prior to the board meetings. Do you want to do that on June 11th? And if so, I'm thinking maybe up to an hour and a half to get, because I have a lot of questions. I've looked at like the New Jersey regs, the Connecticut regs, as well as the red line, and I have questions in how in continuing ed, for example, some of the proposals are different than what other states have done, and as the board thought about this, as the board thought about that, and I had some other things that I didn't know, other questions, other potential changes, so I'm thinking if we have an hour and a half, my hope is to get through those. Then I could come up with a revised draft for maybe one more subcommittee meeting. And also in the interim, perhaps prepare the drafts of the forms that are needed and like the background document that we would need. So that we could have another subcommittee where we look to see if those amendments are final, look at, everybody thinks the forms look okay. So hopefully we would just need a couple of meetings, if we met around 10:30 on the 11th, does that work for the subcommittee members? Do you want to try to find a different date?
That works for me. It sounds good.
Okay, all right, I'll send it around I can stay in the body of the email, we're thinking of meeting on this date at that time, let me know if that doesn't work for you and whether we need to find a different time, okay.
Scheduling board meetings for the remainder of the year.
So it looks like we only have a schedule for June. And then I think in the past few years, the board has not been meeting in July and December. And if you want to continue with that, we should probably schedule meetings for the other months. And it sounds like you've also been doing the second Tuesday of every month. Do you want to just continue with that? And so the staff can prepare the schedule based on the second Tuesday of every month moving forward in August, September, October, and November.
Yes, that's me.
Okay, all right, we'll do that then. And we can publish those dates on the website then, so everybody knows when they are.
All right, our next meeting is scheduled for June 11th. We'll continue with the hybrid approach using Zoom. And the board will be entering into quasi judicial session after the board meeting and not turning to public session. And
Will we do that right away? Because didn't Chris send the link for it already? I just want to make sure that's what I'm.
When I end the board meeting, I'm going to start the practice session of the quasi meetings, that way everybody will be able to join right away.
Okay.
perfect. All right, we'll adjourn at 12:45.
I don't think we'll